Okay, students, today we'll start with environmental issues. So, environmental issues is again a very important chapter for Neet. Usually, at least two questions are asked in Neet in environmental issues, and at least one question would be asked in Neet. CET. Okay. So, in environmental issues, we deal with all the aspects of pollution, how pollution is caused, different types of pollutions and how are they caused, what are their effects, how can we reduce their damage, how can we overcome if there are pollutants which will persist in the environment, what can be done. Then we'll look at deforestation and improper resource utilization and all those, and the conferences that have been held in various parts of the world to overcome pollution and those damages which would be caused to the environment. Let us look at what is pollution. Pollution is an undesirable change in the physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of air, land, water, or soil. Physical, chemical, or biological characteristics. Understand this? Physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of air, land, and water or soil. So, very important: soil, water, land, air. So, every type of pollution will go through. Then, what are pollutants? Pollutants are the agents that cause pollution. Pollutants are the agent that cause pollution. Then, the human population explosion increases demand for food, water, home, that is for space, electricity, automobiles, etc., and it leads to pollution. So, the government of India passed the Environmental Protection Act. So, this is important. Environment Protection Act in 1986 to control environmental pollution and protect and improve the quality of our environment. Next, we have different types of pollution. In that, we have air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and all that. So, we'll look at air pollution first. Okay. So, what are the causes of air pollution? Particulate matter. Particulate matter. So, what is particulate matter? Particulate matter is something which has a size less than 2.5 micrometer. Okay. And gaseous air pollution from smokestacks of thermal power plants, smelters, etc. And even from automobiles, burning of fossil fuels, firewood, all that causes smoke and other gases which are let into air will cause air pollution. According to the Central Pollution Control Board. So remember the abbreviation CPCB. So sometimes 1 mark they would have asked it in the main exam also. In the NEET also they have asked it. CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. The particulate size of less than 2 micrometer in diameter. Okay. So remember this, 2.5 will cause the greatest harm to human health. So what happens to these particulate matter? These particulate matter can't be filtered off in the nasal cavity. So they'll cause the greatest harm to human health. Then, what are the harmful effects? Okay. So particulates cause respiratory problems like irritation, inflammation andre swelling, ಊದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, damage to lungs and premature deaths. These are the effects of air pollution on humans. On plants, so this is all about humans. So ನಮಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Humans. What about these? These are on plants. So for plants, there is reduction in growth and yield of crops and premature death of plants. So how do we control it? So we have to find some solution to control it. We can't completely stop it. Okay. So we can't just say from tomorrow all of you stop using your vehicles. That can't be done. Okay. We have to somehow control it. How do we control it? Separate out particulate matters before releasing harmless gases into the atmosphere. So all those particulate matter which was released into air. So ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಗಾಳಿಗೆ particulate matter ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನ ಹಿಡಿದಿಡಬಹುದು. You need not have to send it out. Then use of lead free petrol and diesel. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಬಂಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅನ್ಲೆಡೆಡ್ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಕರ್ ಅಂಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. ಅನ್ಲೆಡೆಡ್ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಅನ್ಲೆಡೆಡ್ ಡೀಸೆಲ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. Okay, use of catalytic converters. So where are these catalytic converters present? They are present in the exhaust. ಎಕ್ಸಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸರ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಗೆ ಆಚೆ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಪೈಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಟಲಿಟಿಕ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಹಳೆ ಗಾಡಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಸೈಲೆನ್ಸರ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೊಡ್ಡದೇ. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಲಿಟಿಕ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಫಿಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ವಿಚ್ will not send certain poisonous material out of the vehicle. Okay, then phasing out of old vehicles. So all of you should know that old vehicles which are there more than 14 years are usually phased out. So in Delhi, they are not supposed to use vehicles which are older than 14 years. Then use of low sulfur petrol and diesel. Low sulfur petrol and diesel. Okay, this is very important. Then application of pollution level norms for vehicles. Okay, example, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು, in India we have different norms like BS3, then we had BS4. Okay, one second, sorry, which were they? It was BS3. Okay, after that we got BS4. Now BS5 is there. Government has brought up a new one which is BS6 now. BS6. So Bharat stage 3, Bharat stage 4, Bharat stage 5 and Bharat stage 6. So every year it is bringing up new emission norms which will give lesser emission. Okay, then use of compressed natural gas, CNG. So some vehicles which run on CNG have been introduced into the market. Then look at this one, and hogana now. Catalytic converters. So what do? The device to reduce emission of poisonous gases, it has palladium and platinum. Remember this, very important. And rhodium. Palladium, platinum and rhodium as catalysts that convert unburnt hydrocarbons to carbon dioxide and water. Carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide, nitric oxide to nitrogen. So motor vehicles having catalytic converters should use unleaded petrol because lead will inactivate the catalyst. So because of this, now we are having unleaded petrol. So remember this. Can you see the picture? So vast majority of the vehicles now, all the vehicles now have catalytic converters. So remember this, platinum and palladium, and rhodium. You have to remember it. Then what are the advantages of CNG? So ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, compressed natural gas, ಅದರ ಉಪಯೋಗಗಳೇನು? It is better and cheaper than petrol and diesel. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಬೆಲೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು. It burns almost completely, ಫುಲ್ ಉರಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೀಸೆಲ್ ತರ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಉಳಿದೋಗಲ್ಲ. It cannot be siphoned by thieves and adulterated. So what do you mean by siphoned by thieves? It is compressed gas. So you try to bring it into air, it will become a gas. You can't hold it. Okay, so ಯಾರು ಅದನ್ನ ಕದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. So if they try to open it, it will leak out into air. Okay, but what is the main problem? Difficulty of laying down pipelines to deliver CNG through distribution points or pumps. So the problem is you have to lay down pipelines. ಈಗ ಹೇಗೆ ನೀರು ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಥರ ಈಗ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೋ ಥರ ಮಾಡೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ. It is very difficult. Okay, remember this. Then electrostatic precipitator, will come to it. So ನಾವು ಒಂದನ್ನ CNG ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ ಮತ್ತು catalytic converter ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ ಪೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. But in a large scale, example, in all these thermal power plants, what can be done? We use electrostatic precipitator. It is a device that removes particulate matter. Okay, particulate matter. It removes over 99% of particulate matter present in the exhaust from thermal power plant. So what are thermal power plant? ಉಷ್ಣ ವಿದ್ಯುತ್ ಸ್ಥಾವರ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಾ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ದೇ ಬರ್ನ್ ಕೋಲ್ ಕಲ್ಲಿದ್ಲು, ಇದನ್ನ ಸುಟ್ಟಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಬರೋ ಹೀಟಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಹೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಕೋಲ್ ಸುಟ್ಟಾಗ ಬರುವಂತ ಹೊಗೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆಚೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲೇಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ ಹಿಡಿದಿಡ್ಬೋದು. ಹೌ ಡು ವಿ ಡೂ ಇಟ್? ದಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ electrode wires at several thousand volts, remember this, attached to dust particles giving a negative charge. The collecting plates attract charged dust particles. Remember this, the collecting plates attract charged dust particles. The velocity of air between the plates must be low enough to allow the dust to fall. So ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಲೋ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ the dust will fall down. Next, all these particles which are there will be again used up. ಅದನ್ನೇನಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. Next is scrubber. A scrubber removes gases like SO2, that is sulfur dioxide. In this, the exhaust is passed through a spray of water or lime. The exhaust is passed through a spray of water or lime, and very small particulates are not removed by this precipitator. And very small particulates are not removed by this precipitator. Remember this. That is a disadvantage of a scrubber. Whereas electrostatic precipitator is far more effective. Okay. Go to the next one. Noise pollution. So what is noise? Noise is undesired high level of sound. Noise is undesired high level of sound. So here it is considered to be one of the air pollutants type. Okay. In India, Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act in 1981 was amended in 1987. It includes noise as an air pollutant. So noise as an air pollutant we have taken it. So what is the source? ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ನಾಯ್ಸ್? Music instruments, loudspeakers, crackers, industries, even vehicular traffic, all this will cause noise pollution. So what are the effects of noise pollution? Noise pollution usually causes psychological and physiological disorders. So any sound above 150, generally by takeoff of jet plane or rocket, may cause damage to eardrum. So anybody very close to these process would damage their ears. Okay. Then chronic exposure to relatively lower noise may cause damage hearing abilities. So chronic ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಎಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಹೈ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಎಟ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಕಿವಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋ ನಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೋ ನಾಯ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ದೇರ್ hearing ability. Then what is the problem? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇದರಿಂದ? Sleeplessness, increased heartbeat, and breathing and stress. So you would have experienced it if you are in excessive noise all the time. So you would experience all this. Then how do we control it? So use of sound absorbent material industries, delimitation of horn-free zones around hospitals and schools, permissible sound levels of crackers and loudspeaker, delimit time it of using loudspeaker. So ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸೌಂಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬೆಂಟ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಾರ್ನ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಝೋನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್. ಮೊದಲೇ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ದೆನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಅ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬೆಂಟ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ದ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಲೀಕ್ ಔಟ್. ಓಕೆ. ಪರ್ಮಿಸಬಲ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರಾಕರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೌಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ರಾಕರ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ದಲೇ ಇರಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಲೌಡ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ದಲೇ ಇರಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಆಯ್ತಾ? Then time limit for using loudspeakers. This is very important. Then laws and policies in India to control vehicular pollution. Laws and policies in India to control vehicular pollution. So what are those? Auto fuel policy to cut down vehicular pollution of Indian cities. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ unleaded fuel, we have different types of fuel which will give very less emission. Then Euro 2 norms. So this is very important. You should control the sulfur content at 350 ppm in diesel. What is ppm? Parts per million. Parts per million. And 150 ppm in petrol. Very important. Please remember that. Then the level of aromatic hydrocarbons is to be at 42% of the fuel. Level of aromatic hydrocarbons has to be at 42% of the fuel. Then in future, reduce sulfur to 50 ppm in petrol and diesel to bring down the level to 35%. Then you have to upgrade vehicle engines. Then we come to water pollution now. In water pollution, we study about domestic sewage and industrial effluents. So even if 0.1% of impurities is present, so look at this, this is very important. 0.1% of impurities of water make the domestic sewage unfit for human use. They include suspended solids, sand, silt, clay, etc. Then the colloidal materials, that is the fecal matter, bacteria, cloth, paper fibers, etc., will also cause pollution. Then dissolved materials, nutrients like nitrates, ammonia, phosphate, okay, and ions will also cause pollution. Go to the next one. Domestic sewage and industrial effluents. So this part is important. The removal of dissolved materials, organic compounds, and toxic metal ions are the most difficult. Adu dissolve ಆಗೋರುತ್ತೆ ತೆಗೆಯೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ. But the domestic sewage will contain biodegradable matter. So what does it contain? It contains excreta by humans, detergent, soaps, and all that. Okay. So it can be decomposed by microorganisms easily. So the amount of biodegradable organic matter in sewage water is estimated by measuring a parameter called as biochemical oxygen demand. So we also use the word biological oxygen demand. Okay, both are same. Okay, BOD. Okay, so before that, so please look at this here. So this is the concentration of oxygen. This is the direction of flow. So when the water is flowing from this direction here, if we add sewage here, what will happen? The dissolved oxygen will come down. So it is coming down. And the BOD will go up. The oxygen demand will go up and oxygen will come down. O2 will come down. So as the water flows, what will happen? It will raise like this and go like this, whereas this one will fall again. So they'll come back to normal. Can you see here? So flowing water does not hold much of the pollutants on a longer range. Then domestic sewage and industrial effluent. So what happens? During biodegradation, microorganisms will consume oxygen. This results in a sharp decline in dissolved oxygen, which causes death of aquatic organisms. Remember this. Presence of more nutrients in water causes excessive growth of planktonic algae. That is, algal bloom will take place. Okay, it imparts a distinct color to water bodies and deteriorates the water quality, resulting in the death of fish. Some bloom forming algae are extremely toxic to human beings and animals. So look at this part. Water hyacinth, Eichhornia, which is also called as terror of Bengal. It is the most problematic aquatic weed which grows abundantly in eutrophic water bodies. I'll tell you what is eutrophication later. Then the sewage from homes and hospitals contains pathogens that causes dysentery, typhoid, jaundice, cholera. Then industrial waste contains toxic substances like, this is very important, all these metals. Please have a look. Okay. Then water pollution and its control. So here we look at biomagnification. So what is biomagnification? It is the accumulation of toxicants, that is the pollutants, at successive trophic levels of a chain. Remember, I told you what are trophic levels in the previous class. So producers, consumers, what are they? Producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, like this. It will go on. Okay. So what happens as it is moving from one trophic level to the next trophic level? The pollutant will keep on increasing in their body. So the organisms cannot metabolize or excrete the toxicant. So it is passed on to the next trophic level. This is called as biomagnification. Biomagnification. Please look at this chart. Biomagnification. Biomagnification of DDT in an aquatic food chain. So in water, how less is there? Look at zooplanktons, small fish, large fish, and birds. Okay. So DDT disturbs calcium metabolism in birds, which causes thinning of eggshells. So ಮೊಟ್ಟೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಎಗ್ಶೆಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ತೆಳ್ಳಗಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ and premature baking ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಗ ಉರಿದೋಗುತ್ತೆ. It causes decline in bird population. The birds will not be able to propagate themselves. So this is the problem. So look at the DDT concentration here. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. 0.04 ಆಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 0.5 ಆಗೋಯ್ತು, 2 ಆಗೋಯ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 25 ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ದಂಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? there is a increase in the amount of the toxicant. So the next one is eutrophication. What is eutrophication? It is the natural aging of a lake by nutrient enrichment. Nutrient enrichment. So what happens? In a young lake, water is cold and clear. With time, the streams draining into lake introduce nutrients, that is nitrates and phosphates. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ನೀರು ಹರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಯೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಸೇರಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೈಟ್ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾಸ್ಫೇಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಸೇರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. It increases the lake fertility. So nodili, the lake fertility will keep on increasing. So what is happening? Sediments from land block, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸೆಡಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಹರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಸೇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್? ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ thus plants and animals will also grow rapidly and the organic contents will remain deposited at the lake bottom. So ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? See, the algae is dying, bacteria is dying, planktons ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. This decomposing matter will increase. Okay, then the marsh plants take root in the shallows and fill in the original lake basin. Eventually the lake becomes land. So fully sediment seri correct, that will lead to death of the water body. Then eutrophication, depending on climate, size of the lake and other factors, eutrophication may span thousands of years. However, pollutants like effluents from industries and home accelerate eutrophication. This is called as cultural. So now first ಓದಿದ್ದೇನು? Normal eutrophication, ಅದು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗೋದು, but it will take a long time. Okay, but in cultural eutrophication, what will happen? It will occur within few years. It will occur within few years, and the sediment will keep on accumulating. It will occur within few years. This is called as accelerated eutrophication. So the prime contaminants for this are nitrates and phosphates. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳಿ ನಿಮಗೆ eutrophication cause ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ nitrates and phosphates ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. They overstimulate the growth of algae and it causes unsightly scum. So ಪಾಚಿ ತರ ಕಟ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ನೀರ್ ಮೇಲೆ, and unpleasant odor, and robs the water of dissolved oxygen. So dissolved oxygen will not be there, which leads to the death of other organisms. Next, we come to eutrophication. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, heated or thermal wastewater. So what happens? From electricity generating unit, especially thermal power plants, so they'll take all this water to cool their machinery and they'll leave this water into the water body directly. So what happens here? It eliminates the organism sensitive to high temperature. So ಕುದಿತಾ ಇರೋ ನೀರ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆರೆಗೋ ಏನಕ್ಕಾರ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಸತ್ತೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ತೋದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಬಿಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂತ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ ಬೆಳೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So again it will cool down. So finally what will happen? It will damage indigenous flora and fauna. Okay, remember this. Then integrated waste treatment. So how are they treating waste in different places? So let us look at the first one. It includes artificial and natural processes. An example is the town of Arcata, northern coast of California. The townspeople and biologists from Humboldt State University created an integrated wastewater treatment process. So look at this. So what they did, the marshes, okay, also constitute a sanctuary with a high level of biodiversity in the form of fishes, animals and birds. Fishes, animals and birds. Then the Friends of Arcata Marsh, it is a citizens group for the upkeep and safeguarding of this project. So Friends of Arcata Marsh, FOAM. So look at this, Arcata Marsh, this area. Okay, so what they did is, one second, they passed water through all these marshes so that it got cleaned up. So here next we go to ecological sanitation. It is a sustainable system for handling human excreta using dry composting toilets. This is a practical, hygienic, efficient and cost effective solution to human waste disposal. So human excreta can be recycled into a resource as natural fertilizer. It reduces the need for chemical fertilizers. So look at this, human excreta can be recycled into a resource as a natural fertilizer so that we need not have to use chemical fertilizers. So you can see here all the excreta that comes in, okay, is dried up. Okay, done. So this is there in Kerala and in Sri Lanka. This is also called eco-san. So the government of India has passed Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act in 1974 to safeguard water resources. Then we go to solid wastes. Solid wastes refer to everything that goes into trash. So whatever we put into the dustbin is all solid waste. So we have municipal solid wastes. What are these municipal solid wastes? Municipal solid waste from homes, offices, stores, schools, hospital, etc. They are collected and disposed by the municipality. So where are they disposed? They are disposed in open areas. So all the solid waste cannot be completely burnt. Open dumps serve as the breeding ground for rats and flies. So wherever they put it, so rats and flies and other rodents will increase there. Then look at this. Sanitary landfills. They are the substitute for open burning dumps. In sanitary landfills, wastes are dumped in a depression or trench and covered with dirt. So what happens? All that will stay there. If it is degradable, it will degrade or it will stay there forever. Then limitation of landfills. The amount of garbage, especially in metros, has increased so much that these sites are getting filled too. So we don't have space. And the seepage of chemicals from landfills pollute the underground water. So see here, groundwater flow. See here, what will happen? Everything will get into this groundwater here. Nodi. So even the groundwater will get polluted because of solid wastes. So solid wastes are of three types. Oh. Biodegradable, which undergo natural breakdown. Non-biodegradable, example plastic packets, polybags and polystyrene. So idu degrade agodilla, non-biodegradable. Biodegradable degrade ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, complete ಆಗಿ degrade ಆಗುತ್ತೆ by the action of microbes, that is fungi, bacteria and all that. Okay, so we can use eco-friendly packaging, example like cloth or natural fiber carry bags, so which will get degraded in soil, that is important. Then recyclable, example plastics and e-waste, they can be recycled. So what happens to hospital wastes? They contain disinfectants, harmful chemicals and pathogenic microorganisms. The hospital wastes are disposed by using incinerators. What do they do in incinerators? It is subjected to very high temperature where they are burnt, which will again cause air pollution. Okay, the next one is solid waste. In solid waste we have e-waste. So all those electronic wastes which are there are called as e-wastes. So they are usually buried in landfills or incinerated. So they are buried or they are burnt. So but by burying them again they cause land pollution. By burning them they cause air pollution. So recycling is the only eco-friendly solution for the treatment of e-waste. But during recycling, the workers are usually exposed to toxic substances present in the e-waste. Over half of the e-waste in the developed world are exported to developing countries. Example like China, India, Pakistan, etc., where many metals like copper, iron, silica, nickel, okay, aluminium are recovered during the recycled process. Then solid wastes. So solid wastes, all the plastics, there is a remedy to it. So polyblend, a remedy for plastic waste. Ahmad Khan, a plastic sack manufacturer in Bangalore. So he was to manufacture plastic sack. So they develop and he developed polyblend. So what is it? It is a fine powder of recycled modified plastic. Okay. Then this polyblend is mixed with bitumen. Okay, and is used to lay roads. So polyblend and bitumen enhances the water repellent properties and helps to increase the road life. Okay, so understand this. Then agrochemicals and their effects. So integrated organic farming. Look at this. It is a cyclical zero waste procedure where waste products from one process are cycled in as nutrients for other process. So if you have a field, so that field, all the material can be used for cattle feed. So here they produce milk. Milk can be used either by cow or by these goat or all that, and their wastes are used for composting. Again, that compost can be used for agriculture. Okay, so remember this. ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಮಿಶ್ರ ಕೃಷಿ ಅಥವಾ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಅಲೌಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್ ದಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ he had included beekeeping, hainugarik, that is apiculture, dairy, water harvesting, composting and agriculture in integrated organic farming. Then agrochemicals and their effects. So integrated organic farming, look at this. What is it? They support each other and allow an economical and sustainable venture. What do you mean by they support each other? So the waste by cattle can be used as manure. The field, what fodder is left out, can be used for cattle. Again, in that process, they are getting milk. Okay, sustainable venture. No need of chemical fertilizers, as dung is used as manure. So there is no need to use chemical fertilizers, as dung is used as manure. Then crop waste is used to create compost. So understand this, natural fertilizers are to generate natural gas, which provides energy for the farm. Okay. So Ramachandra Dagar, who is there, has created Haryana Kisan Welfare Club to spread information about integrated organic farming. Then radioactive wastes. So this is one most dangerous waste. So radioactive wastes, what is it? Use of nuclear energy has two main problems. One is accidental leakage and the other one is safe disposal of radioactive waste. So accidental leakage took place in 3 Mile Island in US and in Chernobyl, that is in erstwhile USSR in Ukraine. So the nuclear radiation causes mutation. It is lethal at high doses. At lower doses, it causes disorders such as cancer. It is recommended to store nuclear waste in shielded containers buried within the rocks, about 50-meter deep below the Earth's surface. But the public opposes this method. Why? Because there might be accidental leakage. Next, we come to the next problem, that is greenhouse effect and global warming. Greenhouse is a small glass house used for growing plants during winter. The glass panel lets the light in but does not allow the heat to escape. So what will happen? The greenhouse will warm up. So this is greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect is the natural phenomena that causes heating of Earth's surface and the atmosphere. It maintains the present average temperature 15 degrees centigrade. Without greenhouse effect, the average temperature of the Earth's surface would be minus 18 degrees. So average ಈಗ 15 ಇದೆ. ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, minus 18 ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. But what is the problem now? So the cloud of gases reflect about 1/4 of the incoming radiation and absorb some of it. But half of solar radiation falls on Earth's surface, heating it, while a small amount is reflected back. The Earth's surface re-emits heat as infrared radiation, but a part of infrared is absorbed by atmospheric gases. Remember this. A part of the infrared is absorbed by atmospheric gases. Which are they? Carbon dioxide and methane, the most important one, and so cannot escape into space. These gases, that is greenhouse gases, radiate heat energy. It comes to Earth's surface, thus heating it up again. It causes greenhouse effect. We'll go to the next one. Greenhouse effect and global warming. Overheating of Earth due to greenhouse gases is called global warming. Overheating of Earth due to greenhouse gases is called global warming. During the past century, the temperature of Earth has increased 0.6 degrees. Okay, most of it during the last 3 decades. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 30 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ 0.6 degrees ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಓವರ್ ಹೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ವಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಏನು ಇದರಿಂದ ತೊಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎಲ್ ನಿನೋ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಲ್ ನಿನೋ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್? ಎಲ್ ನಿನೋ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ is the abnormal weather pattern caused by warming of Pacific Ocean near the equator of the coast of South America. So melting of polar ice caps. So if the polar ice caps melt, what will happen? The water will be excessively pushed into the ocean and the ocean will raise. As the ocean level raises, what happens? The sea level raises. The coastal areas will get submerged. So how do we control it? So we reduce the use of fossil fuels, improve efficiency of energy usage, reduce deforestation and plant trees, slowing down the growth of human population. Slowing down the growth of human population. So, what are the initiatives that are taken, okay, to reduce greenhouse gases? Look at this. We'll come to that international initiatives later in the end. So we'll stop here and we'll start again in a minute. Okay.